Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports, the local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
Torey Lovullo is an animal. Sarah called him a party goblin, and with all due respect to Clu Haywood, Coors Light might have found their next beer wolf. Did you see him after Wednesday's game imploring his victorious players to drink up me hearties, yo-ho? And boy, did they listen. Geraldo Perdomo was seen in the clubhouse holding 2 bottles of champagne with 4 beers in his waistband and 2 more in his back pocket. Hey, every good team and every good party needs a facilitator. Now, this is some kind of strategy. Their playoff clinching celebration was crazy over the top, but also appropriate given the struggles that have faced Lovullo and Mike Hazen over the past 3 years. But that scene in Milwaukee with F-bombs flying and beer showers for everyone, with a manager channeling the 86 Mets, maybe Lovullo has found a way to loosen up a team that had been gripping for much of the stretch run. Maybe he loved what that first champagne pool party did for his club before facing the Brewers, and he wants to play that same hand before meeting the dreaded Dodgers. Or maybe this is the Diamondbacks' new identity. They're no longer the Chaos Crew, they're the Beastie Boys. And you know the rules in that club. You gotta fight for your right to crush beers in the clubhouse. I just wonder who has the bigger headache this morning, Gabby Moreno or his hungover teammates. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW. You can find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
All right, are you kidding me? Listen, this is part of the journey. We're not there yet. Let's enjoy it. Let's embrace it. Let's party. And a connected team is a dangerous team. We are dangerous. Let's party all night.
That audio from the locker room from
Yeah.
Torey Dice Lovullo. Here's another part that got edited out.
Let's get pissed.
Oh, you don't think the Dodgers are going to have some fun with that? We are bleeping dangerous. Oh, I love it.
I like
Love
it.
Oh,
Look,
so do I.
Whatever your thought was about last Saturday night, D-backs lose a close one to the Astros, a frustrating game, but because of circumstances elsewhere, they clinch a spot. Whatever you think of how they celebrated, it's apparently loosened up this team.
Yeah. I think there must be a method to this madness because Torey is really letting loose. Let's be real here. He is really just letting it rip. Maybe he's got a 5-year extension we don't know about.
Maybe we'll find out something about that a little later on in the show.
It's just so great.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's right. Derek Hall does join us in 9 minutes.
And you know Derek Hall answers every question.
He does. Yeah, he does.
He doesn't sidestep much.
But
Give him
listen,
the old scale of 1 to 10
this
gag
is,
again.
This is, yeah, right. That's right. But this really is this is a celebration day in the Valley. It's got to be. Winning a playoff series is something that has eluded this baseball team for 16 years. 16 years.
Yeah, people will point back to that Rockies Wild. That was a 1-game win.
Yeah,
that was a 1 game. It wasn't
Not
a series. Yeah. So
No.
the last time they won one was 2007 against the Cubs.
The Cub. And so they were the underdog in this series. They went into Milwaukee. They clearly lucked into a much easier playoff matchup, but that's whatever. They're the ones that had to turn their season back around. And you know, if they continue to play that brand of baseball with a lockdown bullpen, with a great defense, and you know, an offense that's good enough, yeah, they got a shot. They got a shot.
And yesterday's game, the second straight game, Diamondbacks fall behind early. They come back. This time they overcome a 2-run deficit to win 5-2. Torey Lovullo he talked about that after the game, and he felt last night's game was kind of a nutshell for the team the entire season.
I will say for the first 4 innings of today's game, we were absolutely shut down by Peralta. Our starting catcher goes out, and you talk about adaptability and resiliency. That was in the forefront of today's day more than anything. Our guys were tough, and it was a young group that stepped up. And how they do it and how they learned it, I'm not sure. But I think they were ready for this from all the things that we've been talking about and training them with over the past 4 or 5 years of developing him.
And Torey Lovullo is exactly right. A 20-pitch first inning for Peralta that, Marte walked with 1 out, but that was it. Mm-hmm. Then he has an 8-pitch second, a 10-pitch third, an 11-pitch fourth, and got Herrera out on 2 pitches to lead off that inning. Gurriel had a 10-pitch at bat, and everything swung after that. And they got on the board with the Thomas home run 1 batter later. That 6th inning barrage started against Peralta and continued. And that's something we saw really in both games is once the Diamondbacks offensively smelled a little blood in the water, they turned into some sharks.
Yeah, no, right. And you can see the effect that when they do that, they start rattling the opponent. It's amazing. The game's going in the opponent's direction for a while, and then boom. Suddenly the Diamondbacks come alive. Now they're running a little bit. They're working at bats. They're getting guys on base. They're getting big hits, and now the other team is on pins and proverbial needles.
Mm-hmm.
And great stuff. And I think, again, Emile Saudier said this after the game to reporters who were in Milwaukee. I read this in Nick Picoro's story. He said that the difference from what he can tell is that the Diamondbacks, they were the ones feeling the pressure down the stretch, and it was constricting them. And you can understand why. Because I think it was nearly unanimous that if this team coughed up a hairball and missed the playoffs, which they were in danger of doing, then a very good season would be stamped forever as a failure. And that's the way I believed. When you're 50-32 or whatever, 50-34, at that point in time, you got to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And the Diamondback season went from 97.3% certainty to make the playoffs all the way down to about 22% and then all the way back up again.
Yeah.
And they finally got in. And his point was, once we got in, all the pressure gone.
Yeah.
And now the pressure's on them.
And for Zach Gallen to take the ball yesterday in a clinching situation, get off to the rough start, 32 pitches again in the first inning, then completely settling down. If you needed more proof of how good Zach Gallen is, you got it last night on a night where he wasn't at his best to start the game. And Zach Gallen told Torey Lovullo before the game, you give me 110 pitches, I'll get you 7 innings.
Mm-hmm.
Well, 32 in the first didn't exactly bode well for that, but he got through 6 in 100 innings, and Torey Lovullo talked about his exchange after the first inning with Zach Gallen.
My confidence level is always high with Zach. I know through the 5 years that I've known him, there have been a couple of clunkers, and they were very identifiable, but I can count them on one hand. I felt very strongly that knowing Zach the way that I did, that he was gonna rise to the occasion to start to make some pitches and start to sequence pitches and get into a rhythm, which he did. I will tell you this, I will share it. I don't know if you guys have had a chance to talk to him. He walked by me after the first inning, and it almost like a "don't you dare" comment said, "I'm giving you 7 today if you give me over 100 pitches." And I said, "Go ahead and show me, get it done." He came close. But I think he really stepped up and started to make pitches and gave us a chance to catch our breath. It's too early, and then it was 5 shutdown innings in true Zach form. And my confidence level was very high because he's only given me his best, and I knew that's what was going to happen.
And there wasn't much that was dicey after that first inning, Bick, but in the third, the Brewers got back-to-back hits with 1 out, and then he induces the 1-6-3 double play where he makes a great play. Glove gets knocked off his hand, and he turns that double play.
Yeah.
Perdomo turned it as well. The next inning, leadoff walk, erased with a double play. So anytime there was any adversity for Zach Gallen after that first inning, he just kind of squelched it out immediately.
Listen, it was, and again, as the game went on, the pressure completely shifted to the Brewers, and the Diamondbacks pounced on that.
Yep.
This is fantastic stuff, and it wasn't lost on Torey Lovullo that they clinched in the same field that he once famously called his team into the dugout and aired them out in front of the world to see.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
And
he said that was the night I lost my mind. I think he lost it last night too, Vinny.
Much different way, though.
Yeah, right. In a good way.